Boys and girls, this is the Undisputed Era. Adam Cole, Kyle O'Reilly, Roderick Strong, and you're listening to Going In Raw, baby.
Hey guys, this is Charlotte, and you're watching Going In Raw. Going In Raw. That sounds terrible.
What's up? It's your girl, Sasha Banks, the Legit Boss, and you are watching Going In Raw. You like that?
Hey, friendo, Steve here.
And Larson.
And welcome back to Going In Raw, the only pro wrestling podcast you need to be listening to right here at youtube.com/Steve Larson, and available wherever podcasts can be found. Be sure to hit that subscribe button, a little notify bell next to it. Make sure you're always getting your new Going In Raw notifications. We're also available on the Patreon at patreon.com/Steve Larson. We have a variety of reward tiers over there. We're coming down to the end of the month, Larson, which means you got to get your $20 pledge in ASAP. If you want the Friendo Care Package, you get a comic book, some stickers, a poster, and a postcard. Yeah, it's a good value. You get your video question on Matt Chat if you want it every Sunday.
Yeah.
It's a good deal. We also, at $5, have bonus content.
Yeah.
Including
every weekday.
That's right. Today we've got Ask Steven Larson, the award-winning, critically acclaimed, high box office numbers.
None of those things are true.
Yeah, man. You also get access to all the bonus content if you click that join button on YouTube. You get access. It's $5 a month, and you get access to all that bonus stuff. And if you watch the show live, you can use all those custom emotes.
Yeah.
Got a new one, me wearing a hat. Hat Steve. It's a whole new aspect of my character. It's honestly just when I don't...
It's just bad hair day, Steve. That's all it is.
I don't feel like doing my hair, or if my hair ain't doing what I want it to do, I put it under a hat. And there you go.
I don't think that's terribly uncommon.
That's that. Anyway, speaking of that's that, another Going In Raw view, Going In watch party. Want to say
that's
thanks to everybody for joining us for that. It's always fun when we get to relive classic wrestling moments with the friendos. So, of course, we're here to do a Going In Raw view. Raw after Mania 2002. Larson, how do we choose this one?
Democracy.
Yeah.
Up for a vote.
Right.
$10 and up patrons, we give them 3 options.
Is it a democracy when the people who are voting have to pay to get the privilege to vote?
Well, I guess it was like when America was first founded. You had to be a landowner to vote.
Exactly.
So, no, not really.
There you go. Yeah.
So we put up to a vote.
Yeah.
This one won with plurality.
You know, by today, this was tied with 2003. But
2013.
I'm sorry, with 2013, but we had already prepared
and advertised that this is one we were going to watch.
Yeah, this was leading the vast majority of the time.
Yes.
I just woke up this morning, I checked it. It was like, okay, well, this is a tie. The other one didn't get past it. It was very close between this and 2013.
Yeah.
Oddly enough, I was very surprised. I thought for sure that the Raw after Mania 14, 1998, would have run away with it, but no. People
I remember that one being pretty exciting.
Yeah. So,
especially the end, they had that cage match with Funk and Foley against New Age Outlaws, when the New Age Outlaws officially joined DX.
That was good.
Close the show. I remember that.
This was an interesting time for the WWF.
Yeah.
It was the brand split, the brand extension, the brand draft
was just about to happen.
Was on nigh, right?
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. So it was announced during this episode
in highly dramatic fashion by Linda McMahon.
Oh my goodness, they couldn't have come up with a more dramatic way to announce the brand draft. We'll get to that in a little bit.
Her sitting in her office with the program to WrestleMania 18 on her desk, as well as the latest issue of WWE Magazine.
And a bunch of items from Things Remembered.
And a really generic piece of art.
Oh, my God, yeah.
In the background. It was very much early 90s Office, but it was not actually early 90s. It was 2002.
Right. So, of course, the big story of the time was this was the Raw after Mania 18. Rock versus Hogan, Icon v. Icon, where Rock proved that he is true icon. But unexpected.
And that wasn't quite sitting quite right with Hogan, because he thinks he's the icon of icons.
He thought for sure he was going to come out of that icon of icons.
But he had to kind of begrudgingly accept the fact that he wasn't icon.
According to the Wrestling Observer at the time, Meltzer said that the front office was actually pretty surprised about Hulk Hogan getting that face pop that he did. I don't have the exact quotes right here, but yeah, they were pretty surprised about that. They didn't think that was going to happen. Let's see here. Let's see if I can grab some salient quotes
Yes, please.
here. That's not it. I don't. Why don't you talk a little bit about other stuff? What happened with Triple H and Jericho there?
Oh, Triple H beat Jericho.
That's right.
The storyline was that Stephanie was Jericho's business associate, although I think Jericho initially pitched the idea that they were having an affair. That didn't work.
Right.
I think Triple H said something to the effect of, "Why would my wife have an affair with you?"
Yeah.
Anyways.
So yeah, this was also happening at the time too. The Austin stuff. So according to Wrestling Newsletter, the biggest backstage story of the weekend actually involves Steve Austin, who, unhappy with the direction of his character, flew home from TV Monday and did not appear on Raw or SmackDown tapings Tuesday night. The belief is that he seriously changed the planned booking strategy for his match with Scott Hall, perhaps even changing the finish of the match. The idea was to have Vince McMahon interfere in some way, perhaps causing Austin to lose, and also necessitating the board of directors' decision to split the company in two, an announcement made on Raw the following evening with no explanation, really. Austin, apparently not wanting to continue his feud with Hall in any way, refused to go along with the plans and scripted an entirely new match, which saw him pin Hall clean after 2 stunners and end the feud. As a result, Vince didn't even make a single appearance at WrestleMania, which made Linda's announcement on Raw seem confusing and devoid of reason.
So I guess the idea was Vince would get involved in Austin's match, and the board would say, "Enough with all this.
Yeah.
With your meddling ways, Vince."
Yeah.
At least as it relates to Raw. I guess apparently, though, since the way it was broken down by Linda, it was Ric Flair. He would be in charge of Raw, Vince in charge of SmackDown, so I guess Vince can meddle all he wants. But since Vince is the one who created Monday Night Raw, who birthed it, it would be an insult to him to just give him SmackDown.
Yeah. So this regarding Hogan, most in the WWF have been conditioned to think that fans don't want to see old guys, a belief that has been shattered for many with Hogan coming in and overshadowing everyone the way he has. What everyone needs to understand is that Hogan is getting the nostalgia reaction everyone should have expected for his first 2 days as a WWF babyface since '93. In the short term, yes, he's going to be larger than life, but this same thing happened to him many times in WCW. And after a few weeks, the ratings and reaction pretty much returned to normal. The reaction to Hogan this week does not signal the end of the world, and it should probably be seen as a positive since it will likely boost business short term.
It boosted business, at least in Vince's mind, because a month later they put the undisputed title on Hogan.
Yeah. It was a really, really fantastic crowd there in Montreal.
It was very enthusiastic, and then they dumped all over it with a garbage ending to the main event.
That was a really bad ending. That crowd really deserved leg drop 1, 2, 3,
or at least something definitive.
Yeah. So, anyways, it kicked off with the man of the hour, Hollywood Hulk Hogan, in full NWO regalia.
Yeah.
So he came down, and this was a very long.
Yes, this was an extended opening segment. This was, people complaining like 2011, 2012, 2014, 2013 that every episode of Raw would open up with 20 minutes of talking. Well, that wasn't something that was just in 2012, 2013, 2014. This goes all the way back for years. So Hogan comes down the ring, massive pop, of course, the night after WrestleMania 18, where the crowd pretty much turned him face.
Yeah.
And so he finally gets a chance to talk after letting the crowd chant Hogan, cheer for him. He was really, you could tell he was like the happiest he'd ever been.
I don't even think, it's funny because like Hogan in my mind always thinks that he should be champion.
Yeah.
He should always be at the top of WWE even when he's like far away from it.
Yeah.
He really this seemed, and Hogan I don't think really is all that great at not wearing his emotions on his sleeves. Like he doesn't have a good poker face. Mm-mm. He seemed genuinely surprised at the reaction that he got.
He did. He seemed genuinely, for lack of a better word, moved by it.
Yeah, he did.
So he starts talking. And he said he expected his match with The Rock to be the best ever. In his estimation, they delivered. Best match ever, according to him. But he said he expected his NWO brothers to respect his wishes and not get involved.
He wanted to prove that he is the man.
The icon. He wanted to prove that he was the only true icon of WWE. He said even after he ran over The Rock with a semi-truck, hit him with a boot and a leg drop and pinned him, The Rock kept coming back, and he says, "Rock, you were the better man. You had the decency to beat me in the middle of the ring," which is pretty much the only way you can really win a match.
Yeah.
Unless it's false count anywhere. But this match wasn't that.
True.
And they shook hands afterwards. And then The Rock comes down. to a mixed reaction.
Mm-hmm.
There are some Rocky chants, but also there are some Rocky sucks chants.
So remember, not to cut you off, remember when we were talking during the watch party about Hogan getting a victory over Rock at some point?
Yeah.
He actually did pin Rock clean the week prior to Mania.
Yeah, that's what you referenced here, yeah.
And that was when it was a handicap match, NWO versus Rock in Austin. So sorry, continue.
Anyways, yes. I remember that he did pin Rock at one point.
Yeah.
The Rock comes out and he says, you and I, Hogan, we share a passion. These fans here all share the passion for WWE, and I want to thank you for that. You, Hogan, I want to thank all of them. They didn't call the audience WWE Universe at the time, but more or less saying WWE Universe, Hogan, thank you for the passion, your intensity, your love of pro wrestling that made what really should have been a really mediocre match a pretty memorable experience because the enthusiasm of the crowd. And The Rock says, I know you want your rematch. I will wrestle you anytime, any place. That it would, to quote The Rock, it would be an honor. And then he calls out Hogan for still wearing the NWO gear after Hall and Nash beat him up at WrestleMania 18.
And he said, why don't you, in the way you know best, show them what you think of NWO now? And Hogan, without, a little bit of peer pressure there, I think he looks cooler in the NWO gear. But he took his point.
He ripped the shirt off, yeah.
He ripped the shirt off.
He should have done the reverse reveal where he should have the Hulkamania shirt underneath.
He's Hulkamania.
Yeah.
That's what he claims now, yeah.
He's not NWO for life.
There was some story
He's Hulk Hogan for life.
Yeah. Hulk Hogan for life is always before everything, dude.
Yeah.
Takes a definite precedent or a definite priority.
Yeah.
There is some story in the newsletter as well about after Mania, McMahon had Hogan immediately fly to Tampa to his residence to go get all of his babyface stuff.
Oh, that's
the
interesting.
red and yellow,
Yeah,
all
yeah.
that stuff. Now, he didn't wear it to the Raw here.
Yeah.
Maybe it was the Raw after this one. Maybe I'm wrong about that. But yeah, he had Hogan go get a bunch of stuff because they were immediately going to – they didn't expect the turn to happen. In fact, at Mania, the Hall and Nash thing coming out.
That was an audible, yeah.
That was an audible. That was in the moment. And so they realized what they had on their hands, and I guess maybe they're going to film some video stuff.
Yeah, who knows?
With some old, stuff.
Yeah.
Things of.
Anyways, Hall and Nash come to the ramp, and Nash is just instantly super snarky and says, Hogan, you turned on us before we turned on you.
Well, this was less snark. This was from the heart. This was, hey, we had a plan. We were going to do this.
He started out kind of snarky. Then he started about they had a plan, a very good plan.
We had a very good plan.
That they were going to take out Austin. They were
Yeah.
gonna pick off the top stars of WWE, inject poison into the company, and start by beating down top stars one by one. He said first it was Austin. And that was the plan until The Rock came along and challenged you to a match at Mania. And essentially he said, your ego took over, Hogan, and diverted the plan that we had in place.
Doesn't Kevin Nash know Hulk Hogan? Doesn't he know that if given even the slightest opportunity, he will take the spotlight himself?
Yeah, totally.
Can't be
Well,
surprised.
that's more or less what he was alluding to here. And then The Rock responds. He calls Nash Big Daddy Bitch.
Yeah, Rock completely just buries Hall
yeah.
and Nash big time.
Oh, yeah.
And
then-
Hall and Nash really don't have much chance to respond.
No, Rock challenges the NWO to a tag match against himself and Hogan. And Hogan says, like The Rock says, just bring it.
Yeah.
And then Nash had a really terrible comeback about, say, Hogan, don't choke this one too.
Hall got on the mic for a little bit, and then, of course, Rock went to the Chico stuff.
Yeah.
It was a burial of Hall
Pretty
and Nash.
much.
Yeah, because here's the thing. Hall and Nash, they're like really good talkers.
Yeah.
And Nash's bit was actually really, really good. And then Rock just peed all over it.
I know.
Which the crowd ate up.
Yeah.
But it really made Hall and Nash look weak. Like, they really bungled the entire NWO thing.
Yeah.
And, Hogan just ran away with it.
I mean, if Pritchard's be believed, they didn't really care about Hall and Nash. Creative didn't, or Vince didn't. Well,
seemingly
Vince did.
nobody wanted Hall. Even in the locker room, nobody wanted them there because they just ran roughshod politically before when they were there. And yet now Nash seems to be friends with everybody.
I know.
It's weird.
It's like no one holds that against him.
Yeah, right? Yeah. It's weird.
Because maybe it was a situation where, like, backstage, he was, doing the political stuff, but at the same time, like, he might have been, like, a really good dude.
Maybe they could separate the two.
Yeah. Like, one's just business. The other one, personally, he seemed like a good guy. Maybe that's what people thought.
So this episode of Raw, I was going through the newsletter during the recap there. It earned a 5.28 rating. That is a ton compared to what it is.
Yeah,
So for context, these days it's lucky if it gets a 3. Well, I forget what's the difference between like the 5. So, for example, 5.28 rating. What does that mean
That's
in terms
the
of
percentage? I think of households that are watching that show. Is that right?
I think so. I don't know what that means in terms of how many millions of viewers.
Hold
it
on, let me
is.
see what Raw actual ratings right now.
Yeah,
Gets viewership.
Yeah, no, that's fine. So anyways, after that, while you look that up, there were very, very quick matches in this episode of Raw.
Mm-hmm.
There were very extended promos and talking.
Yeah, there's
not a
not a
lot
whole
in
lot of
terms of
action.
matches.
So the rating, for Raw this week was 0.81.
Oh my god! Really?
Or else a demo rating. Oh, that's for the rating for 18 to 49-year-olds. So hold on, it was it's a 1.
Really?
Yeah,
Is that correct?
and this is the latest numbers. That's from this week.
Well, let's see here. Raw rating 318. No, wait, this is 325. No, which one was this? 318.
420. Oh, that one, yeah.
318 02. See if we get it there.
Otherwise, break it up by the hour.
Raw TV rating. After that, we had, as we do our ratings research, RVD, who was massively over.
Yeah.
I don't remember a time in the WWF when he wasn't in the WWE when he wasn't massively over.
So
There were a ton of. Go ahead.
This is all broken down by demographics, so who knows
Okay.
on this.
Well, look up, see what the millions of viewers were, what the rating was for them. He was taking on Christian, who apparently was still. This was. I don't know how long he had the theme song where it was the opera.
Great.
You love that.
It's so good.
It was the opera song where they said, "At last, you're on your own."
Oh, so good. It's one we sing all the time for Matt Chat whenever Christian has a question.
Yeah.
This is all ratings.
But he was still doing that. He was still sort of an Edge's shadow, whereas Edge had moved on to some Rob Zombie music. They had broken up a year prior, back in 2001.
Yeah.
So, anyways, this is a really quick match. It's
Yeah,
like
most of the
maybe a
matches
5-minute match.
Yeah.
At one point, Christian tries to just take the IC title after eating a bunch of offense from RVD.
Yeah.
And then he starts to walk away, and then DDP, wearing a DDP airbrush jacket and a Fozzy shirt.
Yeah, man, that was awesome.
I had totally forgot that Fozzy had gone back that far.
Yeah.
I didn't realize it was, man, that's a long time ago.
Yeah.
I wonder if they've had much turnover in their lineup, because 20 years is a long time.
I know it is a long time.
So anyways, DDP tosses Christian back into the ring. RVD hits just an amazing, immaculate 5-star frog splash and gets the win over Christian. So he retains his IC championship.
Which he had just won the night before from William Regal. I can't find any information about as far as viewership numbers.
Okay, all right.
But actually, how many people were watching the show.
Yeah.
Next, we had a brief match between Trish Stratus and Lita. Commentary saying that their feud, which would eventually lead them to the main event episode of Raw, was just kind of starting here.
Mm-hmm, yeah.
Another short match. Lita reverses Stratus faction, wins with a moonsault. Afterwards, Jazz runs in, start beating up on Lita. Trish tries to make the save.
Mm-hmm.
And then Ivory runs to the ring. She beats up on Trish.
Yeah.
Jazz and Ivory kind of shake hands to end the segment.
Yeah.
There is partnership forged.
Yeah. I like this. I mean, so there was some messiness to this very, very quick match, but it's kind of hard to what happened in the ring was really cool. Like there was some good stuff going on and then the Jazz Ivory stuff, but then you have King just talking about puppies the entire time. Somebody really need to slap him and say, dude, we're moving, we're sort of pivoting.
Yeah.
I know they still did a lot of this for the next 10 years, but in this segment alone, they probably just been, listen, this is going to be a serious deal. Mm-hmm. This is some drama that we're trying to inject here. Lay off the puppy stuff. Mm-hmm. But nobody told him that.
No. Next, a riveting segment with Linda McMahon in her office that we talked about a bit earlier.
Was this Linda McMahon or was this a Linda McMahon cardboard cutout? I couldn't tell.
Hard to tell.
Couldn't tell.
Where she uses a bunch of business speak to announce the brand extension draft, which at the time, when you hadn't heard that phrase before, brand extension, You're like, what the hell? Are they having a new show? There's a new brand? They probably had no idea that extension means you're taking the old brand and making it larger.
Like the crowd, yeah, it didn't make any sense. The crowd, which was hot, you can hear the crowd, and then they're like,
What?
What does that mean?
It wasn't like the Stone Cold what chance. It was like legitimate what?
I'm sorry. Explain to me, please.
So she said that Ric Flair will be in control of Raw.
Yes.
Vince will be in control of SmackDown.
Yes.
Next week, there would be a draft.
Yeah.
Where superstars would be drafted to their brand and then work for that brand exclusively, except the men's and women's top champions, I believe she said, will be above brand.
Uh-huh.
That only lasts for a little bit.
Yeah.
And that was that. And if that was her real office, she really needed to update it for 2002.
So, for some context here, the ratings are in. So this is from 2000 and this is from when Trump was around WWE. And it said the ratings in Monday's commercial-free edition of Raw delivered an incredible 4.5 coverage household rating /7 share in 4.4 million households. 6.8 million total viewers.
Okay.
I don't know really how to...
So I think 6.8 would be comparable to what we hear about 2.6 million now for Raw.
Okay.
Total viewership.
Okay. Yeah. That's with a 4.5 share.
Okay.
So
viewership now is about a third of that.
Yeah.
So about a 1 makes sense.
Yeah, that
1.5.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeesh.
That's quite a fall.
Yeesh.
After that, we had a Vince promo where he starts off complaining about the board kicking him off of Raw.
Again, this was an excruciatingly long segment.
So long. But he said, I'm coming out here just to wish the crowd goodbye, so they start singing na 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 hey hey goodbye. And they start to talk a bunch of trash about Ric Flair.
Yeah.
Because Flair is the one taking control of Raw.
So they said that I made Monday Night Raw, and now I'm not even gonna be Flair.
Yeah. Anyways, of course, this brings Flair out to the ring.
He's still hurting from his.
He's got a couple bandages on his head.
Match against Taker.
Yeah, match against Undertaker. And Vince says, "Oh, look at you! You can't even get in the ring. You can't hold yourself steady because Flair had his hand on the rope.
Your face looks like hamburger."
Yeah, because of his match with Taker. Rick takes the mic from Vince, credits Vince for creating Raw, then says he used Raw to flaunt his monetary wealth, to shove Stephanie out on television, to take advantage of all the superstars in the back of the locker room, and including the Kiss My Ass Club.
Yeah, and then the crowd starts chanting, "You screwed Brett."
Yeah.
There's a lot of, obviously they're in Montreal, site of the infamous, was it the same arena?
That
same
I don't
place?
know. That I don't know if it was a Molson
Site
Center or not.
of the infamous Montreal screw job.
Mm-hmm.
And so, yeah, there was a lot of Brett stuff. And in fact, according to the newsletter also, during commercial break, Vince started running down Bret Hart pretty hardcore.
He's trying to get that heel heat before the camera.
Get that heat back going. Yeah, exactly.
Mm-hmm. And then Vince says, I'm going to prove my mental acumen is better by drafting a better team to SmackDown.
He totally did. He totally did, too. If you take a look.
Oh, yeah.
WWF brand draft.
2002 results.
Lottery 2002 results. If you take a look.
Yeah, Vince did win that draft.
It's not even close. Like, so with the number 1 pick on SmackDown, he picked The Rock. That makes total sense.
Yeah.
Flair went with Undertaker. Then McMahon for SmackDown went with Angle. His next couple picks are, listen to this lineup: The Rock, Angle, Benoit, Hogan, the tag team champions, which were Billy and Chuck, Edge, Rikishi. They split up the Dudleys by taking. He shouldn't have taken Devon. That was a bad pick. And then Mark Henry, and then Maven, which is not a great pick. But conversely, over on Raw, we have The Undertaker, the Hogan-less NWO, which was Kevin Nash, X-Pac, and Scott Hall. Not a good pick. Not a good pick.
Not a good pick at all.
Then he took Kane. Not a good pick.
No.
Then he took RVD, which is a really good
Great pick, yes.
Then he took Booker T. Good pick.
Great pick.
Then he took Big Show. Not a good pick. Then he took Bubba Ray.
Then he took Brock.
Then he took Brock, and then he took Regal. Then he took Alita, Bradshaw, splitting up the
APA.
The APA. Well, nobody took. Who took Ron Simmons?
Just when he was released.
I guess,
No, that was 2004.
Farouk went to SmackDown.
Oh,
That's when
there
they
you
were.
go.
That's when they were. Yeah, they were split up.
So, anyways, Vince produces a coin and says, "Let's have the coin toss now." Rick says, "Sure." Vince tosses the coin. Vince wins. And then
Vince wins. We don't actually see because he's like, I got heads. And then they flip it, and the damn coin just goes
Takes
the scenic
forever.
route. And then finally it lands, and he says, heads. And then Flair puts his foot on the coin.
probably because it came up tails.
Nobody can see it.
And then Vince punches Flair, tries to do the Fargo strut. That's the ugliest damn Fargo strut I've ever seen.
Yeah.
Rick gets up. He clocks Vince, puts him in the figure 4.
It's our friend. It's the ant.
Oh,
Hello, friend.
hello, friend.
Please be careful around here.
You sure? He looked way larger when he was on the ceiling yesterday.
Yeah, he did.
Maybe it was a beetle on the ceiling.
Like
yesterday.
super ants over here or something?
Maybe,
My goodness
maybe.
gracious.
Next, we had a tag match between Booker T and Kurt Angle taking on Edge and Kane.
Yeah.
This was fun. Again, though, very short. Mm-hmm. At one point, Kane grabs Angle for a choke slam. Booker T breaks it up, and then Angle and Booker hits a double suplex on Kane. Edge hits a missile drop kick on Kurt. Booker breaks up the pin. This is probably the most exciting match of the whole show.
It was.
Kurt Angle puts the ankle lock on Edge. Kane comes over, breaks it up with a choke slam. Towards finish, Edge dodges Booker T's kick, and then Booker nails Kurt with it instead. Edge hits a spear on Kurt. Kurt kicks out. I thought the match was over right then. I stopped paying attention for a second.
Well, yeah, also in
I
that
was like, is
sequence.
this 2 out of 3 falls or something?
Also in that sequence, Booker T was in the way of Edge's spear, and he ducked out of the way, so Kurt ate it.
Yeah.
Booker T not quite on the same page with Kurt
No.
Angle as he was with Stevie back in the day.
And then Edge hits his finish back then, the execution on Kurt for the win.
Which is a glorious DDT. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. The spear was way cooler as a finisher.
Yeah. Well, I'm not that
good?
huge. I'm not that huge on the spear as a finish, period.
Edge did it decent, though.
It was all right,
He did
but I don't
okay.
think the spear should be a finish.
What, didn't Edge have, like, different finishes, though? What was his finish back in the day? It wasn't execution, I don't think.
It might have been.
Really? Was it?
It might have been. He might have said a DDT back in the first "You Think You Know Me" days when he was at the Brood. I don't know.
Did they take away the whole, I thought, didn't they, let's see here, Edge.
Say Edge finished 1998 or something like that.
On this dude.
Next, we had a hardcore title match between the champion, Maven. They don't list finishers on there anymore.
Yeah, they don't. Why did they take that out?
I don't know. It was great.
That's so weird.
Wikipedia used to list finishers. Maybe some other site that has that information. Hardcore champion.
Downward Spiral.
When was that? Like, what year was that?
98. Here we go. Hold on.
That's just the spear.
Is that just the spear? Is that what he calls it?
Maybe let's see what it is. That was a DDT too.
So, no, that wasn't a finish.
Oh,
Oh, okay.
it was an STO or a flatliner type deal.
Okay.
So Maven versus Al Snow for the hardcore title. Of course, weapons, garbage can lids, and such. Al Snow starts destroying Maven's head with a trash can lid. Hit him 4 times. Pretty rough.
Yeah, that was rough.
Spike Dudley runs in with a huge stop sign. He hits Al Snow with it, and then making his debut, Brock Lesnar to the ring. He lays out Snow, slams it through the garbage can. An F5 for Maven. Spike Dudley hops on the top rope with a stick of some sort, breaks it over Brock's head. He no-sells it and absolutely obliterates Spike with 3 power bombs.
These were nasty.
They were.
His head looked bigger. His traps looked bigger than they are now.
Yeah, his traps were insane back then.
massive.
His traps were absolutely insane.
But
back
like
then.
his shoulders didn't seem as big as they are now. It's like he has broader shoulders or something.
Maybe.
His bucket head doesn't seem as big now as it did then.
Yeah, I don't know.
Maybe he just had, I don't know.
I don't know either. Anyways, Paul Heyman holds up Brock's hand in the middle of the ring. Quite a debut from Brock Lesnar.
And his path was very quick.
You know what? You know what maybe they could have done in hindsight?
What?
You want to give the fans a little more interesting finish to the main event? Have Brock get in there and lay everybody out.
Whoa!
That's an impact.
Wow, that's a
Because,
great
like,
idea.
my question is, like, this is a hardcore title match. That's 24/7 defenses. Brock just laid out everybody. He could have put a foot on Maven, any of the people, or Al Snow, and won himself the hardcore title in his first
Yeah.
night on Raw.
I think his first big match was against, like, the Hardy Boys.
Yeah.
In a handicap match. and he
Yeah,
beat
well, the
them.
tag match it was Heyman and him against the Hardy Boys.
Oh, was that what it was?
Yeah.
Okay.
Remember that?
Yeah, that could have been a big deal. And then he went on to win the title at SummerSlam, I think,
Yeah,
that
just 4
year,
months
right?
later.
Was that what it was?
4.5 months later, yeah. Next, this bit with Matt Hardy and Lita. They're making out backstage.
Nice.
Up walks William Regal. He says something about young love. It's nice to see.
And then Matt's like, "You're just mad because you're not getting any."
It's weird because Regal didn't seem snarky about it. He seemed genuine.
Well, he has a reputation that precedes himself.
Maybe. So anyways, Regal's like, well, the
brand extension is coming up, son. They might, Mr. Flair might take you, Matt Hardy, and Mr. McMahon might want you, Lita. And Mr. McMahon also might want Jeff Hardy, splitting up the Hardy boys and young love.
Yeah, and they got all sad.
Yeah, and they're like, wah, wah, he's right. That didn't happen, though. They all went together to Raw.
Yeah. Idle threat from William Regal. Next, we had Dudley Boys taking on the tag team champions, Billy and Chuck. This was like a 2-minute match. Because towards the end, Stacy just gets in the ring and hits Billy Gunn with a title belt. Don't really know why.
They're on the verge of setting up Billy Gunn for a 3D. Her hitting him with the title belt really didn't accomplish much.
Well, it accomplished them getting disqualified.
Beyond them getting disqualified, exactly.
NWO Nick Patrick calls for the bell right as Dudley's hit 3D.
That damn ref.
Which would have won the titles.
So he calls for the bell, DQ, right as they're hitting 3D, and they would have had those titles. Mm-hmm. And then he's like, no, it's DQ. And then they turn on Stacy, and they're like, why did you just do that? And she's like, I'm your manager. It's sort of my job. And they're like, no. And then she starts to walk away, and then Bubba Ray grabs her arm.
Pulls her back in the ring.
Don't you walk away from me. Hey.
Puts her in the corner.
Yeah.
And starts yelling at her.
Yeah.
Tells Devon to get a table.
Crowd goes wild for that.
And then Bubba proceeds to jump off the second rope, powerbomb Stacy through the table.
Ooh, that looked rough, too.
Ouch.
But then they got theirs because next week they were broken up.
Yeah. After that, another extended promo segment with Triple H.
Boy, this was long.
He was out there to celebrate his undisputed... I keep wanting to say undisputed now.
Yeah.
Undisputed title victory.
I'm convinced that's why I think Triple H really loves Baron Corbin. I think Baron Corbin's going to be running the company in 20 years.
Either Baron or Seth.
And Triple H is going to be like the Vince character. Mm-hmm. And Baron, if you think Baron is like basically just Triple H from back in the day, like, nobody really likes him.
Yeah.
So yeah, Triple H is like, yeah, I'm undisputed champion.
Yeah, you played the game, and now
World Wrestling Federation.
I'm that damn good. Here's footage of me pedigreeing Stephanie at WrestleMania 18.
And his face is all red, laughing at it.
Oh yeah, he's laughing. He thinks that's the best thing. The only time I ever see him laugh that hard on camera is when after the Katie Vick segment. Remember that? He thought that was the funniest damn thing.
He really did. He was so delighted for people to watch that. Oh, man, they're going to be... Can you imagine there was Twitter back then?
Oh, my God.
Look at these people. Oh.
Anyway, Stephanie comes to the ramp. I forgot that she was using Triple H's previous theme, My Time.
I didn't remember that. I had no idea that was the case.
And Triple H is still laughing. He's just laughing at her. She says Jericho wants his rematch. He doesn't want to wait 90 days. He wants it right now, next week.
Mm-hmm.
And Triple H says, Jericho sees that I'm wounded. I have a bad leg. So he wants to strike now, next week. Well, if Jericho really wanted to strike now while you're hurt, he would have challenged you right then and there.
Yeah, probably.
Didn't really make a whole lot of sense. So Triple H
Wait a second. Where's the bit where Jericho...
Oh, we skipped over that, where he beat up the dude backstage.
Which some people in chat thought might have been Sylvain Grenier.
Yeah.
And it looked familiar, but
his face did look familiar.
I'm not too familiar with Sylvain Grenier.
So sorry, yeah, what happened is Jericho showed up at the arena. Some dude backstage, he starts talking trash, and then Jericho beats the shit out of him.
Oh my God, he destroys him. He's like throwing him into like lockers and stuff in the wall.
Kicking him. He just beats the shit out of him.
Yeah, that's great.
So Triple H says, here's what I propose. Make that match a handicap match. Jericho and another superstar will challenge Triple H next week for the title. Steph's like, all right, cool. And then Hunter says, the other wrestler's going to be you, Steph. And then if I win... you have to leave WWF forever.
Yeah, we just described that in about 6 minutes.
Yeah, then stuff goes on and on and on and
on.
It
took them forever, and they just kept on repeating the same thing over and over again.
Yeah, it just goes on and on and on. By the end of it, Steph says, all right, cool, next week. Yeah. That'll happen.
I'm going to send you out of WWF. He got a real kick out of saying World Wrestling Federation over and over again.
Yeah.
Nobody ever calls it World Wrestling Entertainment these days.
No, because it sounds lame.
I'm going to kick you out of World Wrestling Entertainment forever.
No, because it sounds lame.
Yeah, it sounds terrible.
Lame.
That sounds stupid.
And then our main event, Hall and Nash taking on Hollywood Hogan and The Rock. Pretty short match. Kevin Nash gets his 6 moves of doom in. Didn't see a hair flip, though.
Hey, listen to this. That's
Power
funny.
bomblet.
Sorry, I'm on the newsletter from back then. And this is in other news.
All right.
From Puerto Rico, Carly and Eddie Colon won the WWC tag titles on their big show of the week on 316 in Caguas. It was, what's his face? Isn't that Carlito?
Oh, yeah.
Carly Colon. Eddie Colon might be.
Primo or Epico.
Maybe. They're not that old.
I don't know.
Carlito is.
Yeah.
I don't think those guys are.
Well, one of the Colognes is Carlito's brother, and the other one's a cousin, right?
Oh, is that? Oh, yeah. Eddie Colon is. You're right. Primo. 36. Yeah, he's that old.
Yeah.
Oh, interesting stuff.
Yeah.
I love those old newsletters, man.
they're great.
They're
man.
just.
They're great.
There's a whole giant section about OVW, and it's like apparently David Flair and John Cena as Prototype had a feud. Batista as Leviathan was going around just killing people.
Beating everybody.
Nick Dinsmore was there at the time. Eugene. Shelton Benjamin was there, and Jim Cornette is heavily involved in all.
Yeah.
In all of it. It's
He was
great.
handling creative there.
Mm-hmm, yeah.
So the main event, NWO versus Hogan and Rock. Like at one point, Rock hit a rock bottom on Nash after Nash had punched him twice, and the Rock was acting like he couldn't do anything.
This was great because, for one thing, on the network, they don't have the license to use Voodoo Child from Jimi Hendrix, which was Hogan's theme, his custom theme. And so Jim Johnston apparently had to whip up an NWO theme for Hogan, and it just sounds like kind of not really.
It's like 85% Voodoo Child.
Yeah, right. Which is on the network. But no, I distinctly remember, that was never a thing back then. It's kind of like in WCW, if you watch episodes of Nitro with Jericho, they have Break the Walls Down as his theme.
Oh, yeah.
Instead of even whipping up like an NWO version of his old
Funny.
theme.
Did they replace DDP's theme that sounded exactly like Smells Like Teen Spirit?
Yeah, they replaced that with
his probably WWE theme, right?
Yeah. I think they replaced Ravens also, because wasn't Ravens
pretty much even flow?
Yeah.
So and then Hogan eventually hits a leg drop on Scott Hall, kind of like a weird, awkward leg drop where
it was the wrong leg.
It was the right leg. That's why he hit it that way. But Hall was positioned weird.
Well, he hit it with both legs.
I know, because he always hits it with the right leg. But since he was,
I meant the incorrect leg.
Yeah, he should hit with the left leg, so that leg falls across the top of his body. The other leg,
right, exactly, is above the head. Yeah,
yes,
exactly.
Yes.
Yeah.
But no, I guess he only does it with the right leg.
Maybe he thought 2 legs would be better than 1.
Maybe. And then Nash pulls Hall out of the ring to break up the pin, and then NWO just linger at the foot of the ramp, and all right, I'll just lose by count out. That's how this Raw ends.
It's like, dude,
with a whimper.
The NWO is already buried at this point. Yeah. I know they kept on going, didn't Shawn Michaels come back? His return was with the NWO.
And then Booker T was in the NWO.
Booker T, Big Show, and X-Pac.
Yeah.
It was bad.
Yeah.
It was really
just
bad.
Let it go. Thought there was money with the NWO. That was proved wrong back in 1999.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Yeah.
And that was the Raw.
That was it.
That was the end. Imagine if Lesnar come out at the end and laid everybody out. That'd been huge.
That'd have been big impact.
Yeah.
With his giant bucket head.
Mm-hmm.
Purple, reddish, weird, giant Brock Lesnar head.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah. Good stuff. So, yeah, the next week, the brand extension draft lottery.
Yes, again, Linda McMahon was hosting it from Draft Central, it looked like.
Yeah, so
at WB Studios.
The next episode auto played, and it just kicks off with Linda McMahon in her office.
No, it's like a studio.
And then but she's not even there. Like, they're watching it on TV. The entire roster, including Hogan and Rock.
Like in a green room.
Yeah, no Austin.
No.
I love Austin threw a fit, stayed home, and then the following week, I think, they were doing a whole story where Ric Flair wanted to make sure he got the services of Stone Cold Steve Austin. So, he pitches a fit, and they make him out to be a bigger deal than anybody else. Because The Rock was in the draft. Everybody's in the draft.
Yeah.
But Austin stayed home, and you have to vie for his services now.
Yeah.
That was good stuff. Anyways, yeah. Let us know what you guys thought about this Raw After Mania in the comments.
Yes.
And until next time, we'll talk to you guys later.
Goodbye.
Be a part of Going In Raw today at patreon.com/Steven Larson. Starting at $1 a month, you can enjoy Going In Raw ad-free, gain access to the daily 30-minute Going In Raw post-show, exclusive merchandise, and so much more. Support Going In Raw today. Click the link in the description.